Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
My music mentor says, Marta, this is another way for you to connect with people. So people can find your book and they connect with your message. They can find an episode of your podcast. They can connect with your message. They can see your TEDx and they can connect with your message. And now they can find your music on Spotify or iTunes or whatever have you, and they can connect with you.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice in business, you're in the right place. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, empowerment coach, visibility and marketing expert, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode.
I've shared, I think, a few times how when I started my business with network marketing, right off the bat, I had this vision of being more than what I was doing, right? Obviously, I had the vision of being one of the top earners in the company, being on stage, like having all the aspirations. Hi, Mercedes, so good to see you. And then kind of like the last straw for me was really realizing I didn't want to just be another one in that company. I wanted to have my own thing. And then I started my business. And then when I started my business, I started realizing that my business was a platform for me to do whatever I wanted, right? So I do all these fun photo shoots. I get to attend different events. My husband is super jealous of my lifestyle, by the way, because he does work a 9-to-5. He's a classic W-2 and he loves his job. He's an electrician. He's really found himself in this profession and the company that he works with. Obviously, there's hiccups and issues here and there, but he really enjoys having somebody tell him where to go and what to do. Me personally, and for all of us fellow entrepreneurs, let me know if that's your case as well. I like having my own schedule. And, taking weeks off. My parents are coming to visit next week, all through the week. And we're going to go to amusement parks and do all kinds of different things. So it is kind of a weird way of living life for the people that don't know this reality, that you have this freedom to choose where you're going, right? But then there's the other side of it, the double-edged sword with entrepreneurship, where you feel kind of trapped because your work never ends. When you're working a job, and this works with a job too, but just follow my train of thought. When you're working a job, you have the weekends off, right? Technically, you can unplug and you can separate things. And I know that is also hard for people that have jobs. They still have to, answer calls or do some last minute things during the weekend. But technically, this is the imagery that we have when it comes to a job. Hey, can't wait for Friday. I'm unplugging. With entrepreneurship, that's trickier because since you make your hours, maybe you do work on weekends, but then you don't work during the week. What I mean by this is that it is a little hard for you to separate yourself from your business because in many ways you are your business and it consumes your life. So all of this to say, at times your business can feel very overwhelming, like you don't have a life anymore because all you're doing is your business. Since you can create your schedule, then it kind of just overwhelms you. And let me know if you resonate with all of this. And having been doing this for 6 years, I have experienced all facets of this, right? I get to do my own thing. I get to set my schedule, but then I also need to do things outside hours because I'm not going to have time to finish otherwise. And I do have the liberty to log on my computer and do this thing right now. So it is kind of hard to separate yourself from your business. And I have realized that if your business is not fulfilling you and you can't separate it, right, because it is you, then it is really time to see if you're being all of yourself in your business. Are you being all of yourself in your business? Is your business giving you the outlet to do whatever you want? I guess that's my main question. Because that's the whole reason why you start a business, right? Is to do whatever you want. But then there are these people that say, you need to niche down, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so you almost at times may feel like you're trapped doing something that you don't necessarily want to do, but that's what's making you money. And that's where maybe you have seen some gurus out there say, well, you didn't create a business for yourself. You created a job for yourself. So that's the other side of what I wanted to say is putting some food for thought, I guess, out there that if you're not leading a business that is allowing you to be fully who you are, and it's just making you money, but it's not something you actually are passionate about doing. If it's not evolving with you, then you've created a job. It's not just a business. And it's not your business and that freedom. And a really good way of gauging that is looking at yourself as a whole and seeing if your business is representing the different facets of who you are. And that's why I am calling this moving beyond your own niche. Because the reason why most of us start a business is because we have a passion around something specific that we want to share. But then obviously you need to refine it to a specific point so that people actually understand what you're doing and then they can pay you. But now, again, like I said, having been in business for several years, I started understanding that I get to expand beyond that specific niche because I don't want to confine myself to something small because I'm so much bigger. So back to the beginning story when I said right off the bat, I joined a network marketing company. I saw how cool it was. I saw how, I had so many possibilities. I was already envisioning being even bigger than where I was. And so I wanted to share this because I feel like many of us have these thoughts, and I wanted to voice these thoughts and let you know that if at times you feel trapped in your own business and like you're not really doing exactly what you have in mind, you have such a bigger vision and it just don't know how to get there. I want to encourage you by saying that this is your inner knowing that you're meant for more. And I want you to give yourself permission to follow those desires, even if they seem crazy, because this is the thing about intuition. There's no rational explanation behind it. There are no details. So back to my vision when I first started network marketing and saying, oh my gosh, I want so much more. I want to be on stages. I want to speak. I want to write a book. I want to do all these things. But there I was, not even a year postpartum with triplets. It seemed like such an impossible thing. But then fast forward 6 years and I've done a lot of the things that I envisioned in that specific day. Oh my gosh, so many bumps in the road in the middle of these two things. But I want you to lean into the vision that you have for yourself, especially if you consider yourself a thought leader. Understanding that if you started your business just to make some extra money to feed your family and to go on trips, awesome. But if you started your business because you really want to make a name for yourself, right? You want to be known for something. You want to leave a legacy for something, then it is important that you lean into that big vision that you may have had across your path. And I'd love to hear from you if you have had this vision. Like, what is that big vision? I've been sharing this over and over again, how, that quote, look around you and realize that the things you have right now were only but a dream several years ago, right? Oftentimes we're resenting our present because we're thinking, I'm not there yet where I want to be. But let's take a moment to be grateful for where we are, because a few even months ago, I was just hoping and praying that I would be here. So there is this element of gratitude, but there's a lesson there too. The reason why you have what you have right now is because you entertained the dream, right? You entertained that vision. So now I want to encourage you to entertain that big vision that you still have for yourself and you're not there yet today. So we're constantly up-leveling that vision and adding more details to the vision, right? When I first started my business and I had this vision of books and this and this and that, I didn't know the details. Now I know that it's a message of empowerment under my Empowered Woman brand. I didn't know the details, but I kept on going until the details started falling into place. Okay. Yes. Adele says, I have a big vision. Amazing. So I want to encourage you to hold on to that vision. Yes, take the steps. Yes, understand that it is not going to be overnight, but trust that the details are going to come into place. And the reason why the segue into all of this is because last year, as I was going through Manifestation Babe Academy with Catherine Zenkina, which you may remember, I applied to get a scholarship and I got a full scholarship for her $3,000 program. That is a 5-month program on, reprogramming your mind, really understanding yourself at such a deep level. And one of the big exercises, several exercises that she has you do, revolves around, what do you want? What is the vision? Right? So you're telling me, Odell, that you have a big vision. And this was usually kind of hard for me because it's like I said, I'm not a very detailed person in that sense. And then she brought in the element of human design. And that opened up so many things for me. And it's the reason why I decided to pursue a human design certification, finished my certification and launched a human design membership. And then I'm in the process of launching my own human design certification. So I already applied for the trademark. I already, received news back that the name is secured. So Empowered HD Method is in the process of being trademarked. So before a year's end, I am going to have my first certified students, coaches, to teach human design. So during that program, when Catherine kept, through several exercises, kept asking me, what do you want? What do you want? There's a specific element to human design that shows you if you are a specific or a non-specific manifestor. And then in reading my chart, I understood I am a non-specific manifestor. So that's the reason why I have this feeling. I have this overall overarching idea, but I don't necessarily have the details. Yeah, no, you have the details. I wonder if you're a specific manifestor. I can go check your chart and let you know. I just started leaning into kind of like impossible things that just started coming up for me as I was doing the exercises. And one of the things that popped up for me, I kid you not, was I want to sing on stage with a band. I want to, empower, encourage people with music and also with my talk and my presentations. And I kind of left it at that. It was a written exercise. I kid you not, less than a month later, I get a call from a friend of mine. She's a fellow Brazilian. We're not super close, but we know each other on Facebook. We've met up in play dates with kids before. She manages a couple different artists here in Colorado. And she called me and said, hey, last minute, I was wondering if you could cover in for the singer and sing for a paid gig. It's a 3-hour event, graduation party, and it's all Brazilian music. I'm going to send you the set list. I do have other singers, like professional singers that do this. But I remember last year you had said, hey, if there's ever, Brazilian parties and you need somebody to come sing a song, you mentioned it. So I figured I would get in touch with you. And it was just such an insanity to me that she would call me. And I don't know if she had already reached out to other people and they couldn't make it. And if I was her last resort, that's besides the point. The point is, I had mentioned it to her high level. Hey, I could sing a song one day in one of these events. Okay. She calls me to pay me money to play, to sing for 3 hours. And I don't do this for a living. Okay. I sing the national anthem at events here and there. Okay. But I had already been setting that intention and I wrote it down. I want to sing with a band on stage. The day before the actual event, because it was the only day that it would work out, I go to her house, I bring my kids, all the kids are playing outside, and I rehearse with the band. And the musicians were like, where did this lady come from? Are you sure you don't do this professionally? How do you know all this music? How do you know the tone? And how do you sing so well? What is happening right now? And then we do the party. It was an amazing experience. And I'm like, I want to do this more. And I'm telling them, like, the other side of the story that was amazing too, is that they're all Americans and they all play Brazilian music. They've dedicated their lives to learning Brazilian pop music and bossa and samba and all of those things. And here I was, as a more American than Brazilian, being invited into this environment. And it was just such an amazing experience. A couple of weeks after that, my neighbor across the street hooks me up to sing the national anthem at the Denver Nuggets. So friends, after these 2 episodes, I was like, wait a second here. Something's happening. I am meant to add this piece to my business. And I don't know how exactly I'm going to do it because I had already written songs. So I had already entertained this before. When I launched my book, I was working with a voice coach, and she was also a songwriting coach. So she helped me start drafting some lyrics for 9 songs, which would be correspondent to the 9 Enneagram songs. I launched them as kind of like affirmation songs in one of my courses, but it kind of stayed there. Then a whole year goes by. I joined the National Speakers Association. I attend this event, and one of the presenters is pretty much a performer, an act. He's a speaker, but he brings up his guitar and he plays songs mid-talk and creates this whole performance. And I'm thinking, that's what I want to do. You know, I go and talk to him after he's done. And he said, yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that do this. You should check out so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And that was another step into me thinking, I can't sit on this anymore. I need to do something about this. I don't know the details. I don't know what this is going to do. Does this mean I'm going to completely scratch my business? No, but I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I need to do something about it. I think a couple weeks after that or before, my kids go to attend a Portuguese Brazilian class, okay, because they don't fully speak Portuguese yet. So they go to this class to meet with other Brazilian kids, you know, expats, families, all of that jazz. And one of the teachers knows I sing, and she asks, can you sing a song as part of the activity? One of the dads, who's also Brazilian, plays a guitar and he can play with you. And I was like, sure. So I started talking to the guy. We rehearse a little in the waiting room. And then I start telling him all the things. And he says, you know what, Marta? I have friends, musicians in Brazil, that they produce music. That's what they do for a living. I'm happy to mediate and help you get your music out. And it's going to be a lot more inexpensive because of the Brazilian currency. You don't have to, look for local musicians for that. My friends, all of this to say, I produced all my 3 tracks, my first 3 tracks. I have 9, but I produced my first 3 tracks. And I am launching my music. Okay. I am launching my music. It's going to be under the empowerment umbrella, obviously, and message, because they are affirmation songs, but they have been officially mixed and produced by official people and official musicians. And I bring in my voice. And recently I actually joined a course that is teaching me how to release music. And one of the things that they talk about, obviously, is creating your funnel, right? How are you going to make money off of your music? And they're like, you need to build your mailing list. And I'm looking at all these things and I'm like, I already know all this. This is what I do with my business. And my music coach, my music mentor says, Marta, this is another way for you to connect with people. So people can find your book and they connect with your message. They can find an episode of your podcast. They can connect with your message. They can see your TEDx and they can connect with your message. And now they can find your music on Spotify or iTunes or whatever have you, and they can connect with you and your message. So I am so excited about this. I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous because obviously there's an expectation that people are going to listen to it and they're actually going to like it, and that this is going to advance into some more musical projects for me. I'm even going to get emotional. One of my clients, Jamie, she's amazing. She's been a big part of encouraging me to do all of this. She's always sending me Voxers saying, oh my gosh, I've never met anybody like you and the way you do things and how vulnerable you are. And one of the things that she said that really touched me is, you don't just tell people to go out there and do scary stuff without knowing what's going to happen. You are constantly doing that. So this is me pulling a Marta again and doing something scary, because it is scary, because it is new. But it's me really embodying my 6 profile line in human design, in being the role model. If there's something in your heart that you want to do, and it seems like it doesn't fit your business or it doesn't fit how you're leading your life right now, I want to tell you that it's there for a reason and you have to do it. It is your personal responsibility to follow that and to act on it, because your life and the world depends on it. So when I am preaching visibility and when I am telling you to think beyond social media, it's not just because if social media implodes, you're going to lose your contacts. It's because if you really want to make an impact in the world, you need to think bigger. You need to write your book. You need to be on stages. You need to do a TEDx. It's not just vanity. It's not just the logo on your website. It is that too. That's super sweet. But the other side of it is the amount of people that are listening to your message. You know, what you're leaving behind, what you're role modeling to your kids, right? And really feeling that satisfaction, especially as a generator, feeling that satisfaction that you did what you were put on this earth to do, right? Isn't that what the Bible says? You fought the good fight. Well done, faithful servant, right? You had this calling and you had this purpose. Oh my gosh, just the other day, I had a dream. And one of my good friends, Chrissy, she's been saying, if you make an intent that you're going to remember your dreams, you will remember your dreams. And thank you so much for all the amazing messages that you are putting in here. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I love all of you ladies. You're so awesome. I had this dream recently that I was in a movie theater. Maybe it's because of all the talk about Barbie movie that I haven't watched yet, but I want to. And there was this voice in the movie theater. I was alone in the movie theater and the screen was on. But you know how they have those announcements of, turn off your phone. Here are the exit signs. It was kind of like that, but I was alone. And it said, the best place for you to sit in the movie theater is right here in the middle. So you can watch everything and you can see everything. And my instant thought when I saw that was, but not everyone's going to be able to sit in the middle. Some people are going to have to sit on the sidelines. And I understood that dream meant to me what I heard in church so many times when I would get called aside for prophecies from preachers and they would say, you have such a strong calling. I loved receiving those words and prophecies. But on the same hand, a part of me thought, well, doesn't everybody have a calling? Everybody does. It's just a matter of them following it. And that is true. But the other side of that too is me always watering down my desires and my message by saying, no, but other people have it too. And so me putting my music out there, my friends, is a testament of me saying, I'm going to sit in the middle of this theater and I'm going to enjoy this movie. I am going to own up to my strong calling so that other people can follow their strong calling too. I'm going to sit in the middle of this theater and watch this movie and have an amazing time so that I can walk out of here and tell somebody else about this movie. I'm not going to worry that I'm taking up somebody else's spot. So that's why I'm releasing this music. It's because I've decided there's room for me in that space as well, right? You've heard me say, I decided there was room for me with publishing my book. I decided there was room for me with doing a TEDx. And now I'm deciding that there's room for me in the music scene because really there is. So I want this to be your permission slip to decide that there's room for you in whatever it is that you want to do, right? Is it like Odell, helping people write their stories and own the fact that they are writers in their own right? What is it? Just own it. Don't worry that you're taking somebody else's spot or that you're doing something outlandish that nobody's going to understand. It is your calling for a reason. One of my favorite quotes is, your call was not a conference call. It was just a call between you and God. So tune into that and follow it. So without further ado, I would love for you to check out my funnel. I created a funnel for my music fans. So it's martasburke.com/empowered music. I will be releasing my debut single later in the month, but obviously I'm creating anticipation because that's how it works. And you also have the option of getting an empowered bundle sent to you where I send you a gift of a copy of my book and some other gifts. Eventually it's going to be a signed CD, but for now I don't have that yet. So I'd love for you to check that out. And the other thing, which is a quick sneak peek I will announce next week, so stay tuned, is that I'm putting together a free masterclass that's going to help you figure out your next business move. You figure out the next opportunity for you to share your voice. Maybe it's not with music, maybe it is, but what is the next thing that you are meant to do using your human design? Because like I said, human design helped me own up to the fact that I need to infuse music in my business. But what is it for you? Let me know if you're interested in learning more about this masterclass. Like I said, it's going to be free. It's going to be called What's Your Next Business Move? And I'm so excited to help you figure it out by looking at your chart. So stay tuned for announcements on the masterclass. But for now, I would love for you to check out my music funnel. I will be sending you a raw version of my debut single. But then the studio version, so fancy to say that, the studio version is coming up in a few weeks.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.